it going, everybody? My name is Ian and you are watching Drive MX-5 channel. And today we're going to be fixing the ride height on my ND Miata with a set of Progress lowering springs. So for this job you're going to need a few tools, nothing too serious, mainly a spring compressor kit. This can be had at any auto parts store. I got this one from AutoZone. You just rent it and then return it, get all your money back. You also need a socket set and some wrenches, most notably 12, 14, 17, and 19 millimeter sizes, and then some pliers for a couple hose clamps. I'll show you what we're doing with those. All right, now we got the car in the air on the jack stands, wheels removed. There are a few things we'll have to do, starting with the front side in order to get the struts out. Doesn't really matter the order, but let's start up here up top. So we're gonna have to remove this strut tower brace. It has a couple 14 millimeter nuts here and here that we'll need to remove. We'll also have to get this little piece of the sound tube removed, just a couple hose clamps. That way we can gain access to the 3 nuts, these are all 14s, for the upper strut mount itself. Then moving down beneath the car, we're going to want to remove this upper control arm. Got a couple 12 millimeter bolts here and here for the wiring, and then the brake lines that we'll need to move, and then these 17 millimeter bolts mounting it up here. We'll need to get this out of the way so that way we can move the control arm, and that'll give us plenty of play to get this strut out. You'll also want to disconnect the sway bar. That'll make it a lot easier to move the suspension up and down when trying to get this strut out. It's just a little 14 millimeter nut on the end link there. And then of course remove the 17 millimeter bolt going through the bottom mount of the strut. We're also going to loosen up the bushings down here and here for the lower control arm. Doing so will allow us to orient the bushings in the proper way once we get the lowering springs on, because the car is going to be lower. It's going to change the neutral position of the control arms, so we want to make sure that the bushings match that so they don't get bound up and create tension and problems later down the road. Now do pay attention to the alignment, because these are what they use to change the front camber alignment, so pay attention to it. Try to get as close as you can to the factory settings. If you can't get it quite right, that's fine, don't worry about it, because you will want to get the entire car aligned once we get it lowered. So now that we have the strut assembly removed from the car, it's time to compress the springs. So we got this spring compressor from AutoZone. It has a 1/2-inch drive down here. We're using the impact in order to compress it. If you come over here, you'll notice there's a little hex head and then a nut right here. So we're gonna take our number 5 Allen wrench to hold this little stud where it's at, and then use the 14 millimeter wrench to get the nut off. You wanna do this because you don't want the inside valves to be spinning around while you're removing this nut. So now that we got this little nut off, let's go ahead and pull the ring off of there. Got this little donut bushing and then the top hat itself. Now, let's go ahead and remove these as well. Remember the order that you put this all in. I'll show you guys, of course, for the video, but try to remember the order that you assembled everything. Now it's really just the spring and then this rubber boot right here. So we're going to go ahead and loosen up the spring compressor so that way we get the new spring on and re-tighten everything down. So here you can see the difference between the stock spring up top and then the Progress spring down here. The difference between the length of these springs is actually not quite as much as I thought it would be, but you can see this one has more coils on it. It's also a higher spring rate, so it should at least improve the handling and drop the suspension about 1 inch, they say. We'll see how much of that is true. But let's go ahead and reassemble this onto the strut. We'll do it in the exact reverse process, starting with the bump stop here. So I'm just reusing the OEM ones, should be fine. Let's go ahead and place this bushing up top there, and place the spring over the coil. Make sure that it's all lined up at the bottom as well, and then take the rubber boot, place it up top, and then get back in the spring compressor, get the top hat on, bushing, washer, and then the lock nut. And then again, making sure we're using this Allen wrench to prevent the valves inside and the stud from spinning around. We'll go ahead and tighten up this 14 millimeter nut right here. One other thing we want to make sure of is that the orientation of this top hat is correct. If you notice here on the stock one of these studs here is lined up perfectly with this hole or that side of the strut. So you want to do the same thing here. Get one of the studs lined up perfectly with that hole down there. That way this thing actually mounts up properly. And then we keep this little plastic piece here. Not sure that it does much other than maybe some reducing squeaking from the metal on metal contact between this and the body. Let's go ahead and put that back on. All right, now that's one spring done. Let's go ahead and get this mounted back on the car. So start by feeding the strut through that upper control arm and then just placing the strut bolt in the bottom mount so that way it kind of holds it in place. Maybe put the nut there on the end as well to keep the strut bolt in place, but don't tighten everything down quite yet. And then as we feed the strut through the top, make sure we also get the control arms back in place. And I would recommend using a floor jack or a friend to help hold everything in place while you feed it all through and get the bolts all lined up. Now that we've got everything back in place, let's go ahead and take care of the other side, and then I'll show you guys the process for tightening up all of the bolts. Now that we got both sides in the car, we can go ahead and tighten up those upper control arm bolts. We gotta do the nut for the, where's it at? We gotta do the nut for the sway bar end link, the nut for the lower shock mount, and then those lower control arm bolts as well. So the trick here is we want to take a floor jack and jack this corner of the suspension up basically until the car barely lifts off the jack stand there. What this does is it simulates the weight of the car on this corner. That way all the bushings and components are in the neutral position, and it should get everything nice and even. When it comes to tightening, I pretty much do hand tight with wrenches on all of the bolts. That should be sufficient. When you take it to the alignment shop, they should do the proper torque on those bottom control arm bolts. Now for the rear strut assembly. So it looks like the mounts for the upper piece they have studs that go up into the body. So starting here in the trunk, we're gonna wanna remove all of the carpeting and trim, and then the little fix-a-flat tire kit. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way. And then starting here with this black trim panel here, you're gonna wanna take a flat blade screwdriver and just remove these little pop rivets. We have 4 of them, one here, 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 and then up here. Go ahead and take these off. And then also unplug the little trunk light right here. Got the little release and just pops right out. And then for the rest of the carpet, we're gonna remove all of those little pop rivets for the carpet on the side here, pull it back here on the back, and then get this side out as well. And then over here we've got another 3 pop rivets, one right there, one right there, and then right here. And this, oh, and 1/4 one right there. And then the last one right here. And then take this little rivet off up top here. Pull these guys out as well. So with the trunk carpeting removed, we can clearly see the top hat for the strut here on the right side, the passenger side. We got a couple 10mm bolts for this bracket here. We're gonna remove that so that way we have better access to this bolt down here. And then over here on the driver's side, same thing, we're gonna remove this panel and then that panel there. Again, 10mm bolts all around, so that way we have better access, and hopefully it won't be too difficult to get those nuts off. And now that those panels are removed, we could take our 14mm socket to get those nuts off for the top mounts. We might need to use a wrench for that back one back there. Same story over here, but let's use a socket and ratchet to get that front one off there. All right, so now that we got the nuts off of the top mount for the strut, we can go ahead and again remove the end link here for the sway bar to give yourself more play in the suspension. And then I know this is going to be tedious, but there's 5 links to the rear suspension. What we're going to do is again loosen the bolt for each one of these bushings. This step may or may not be absolutely necessary, but I'd rather go ahead and do it right the first time rather than cut corners. So let's go ahead and just loosen up each of the bolts, and then we will tighten them up later. Again, get this 17 off for the lower strut bolt, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. All right, now we got both the driver and passenger side rear ones done as well. Again, following the same process when you're using the spring compressor over there. And then once we get back to the car, make sure we jack up each corner till it barely lifts off the jack stands, tighten up all the bushings, the shock mounts upper and rear, and then we'll do the sway bar link as well. Now that we've got the suspension on all four corners and tightened up, let's go ahead and throw the wheels back on, lower it down, and see how it looks. All right, and that is how you do the lowering springs on an ND Miata. I gotta be honest, it's actually not quite as low as I thought it would be. It definitely is lower than stock. There's for sure less gap between the wheel, or tire rather, and the fender. But again, not quite as low as I thought. But granted, they say give it about 500 miles and some driving and they should settle in a little bit more. Plus, I'm still on the stock shocks. I've heard if you go with the Coney yellows front and rear, and you can reduce the spring perch, start that lower, then you will get a little bit lower as well. But I like it so far. It's definitely an improvement over stock. And hopefully the higher spring rates will add to some flatter cornering and tame that body roll just a little bit. So I just gotta clean up everything pretty much now and go for a drive and see how it feels. All right, so time for my initial impressions of the Progress lowering springs for the ND Miata. Let's go ahead, back out in my driveway and find out what it's like. So my neighborhood's pretty windy. Got a few turns here. It's raining, I can't send it too hard. But immediately I notice a huge reduction in the body roll that these cars have, which is just, it's a laughable amount of body roll. It's insane in a low slung car like this. And to be truthful with you, I've only been driving now for a couple hundred yards, but the ride quality actually seems a lot better in this car now with these springs than it did before I put them on. I think it matches with the Bilsteins a little bit better. So far, this kind of feels like what the car should have been from the factory. Also notice there seems to be a little bit less nosedive as well under braking, which would be expected with the higher spring rate that these springs provide. But it is noticeable and obviously a good difference in a performance car like this. Also notice as I just flick the wheels side to side, there is still body roll in this car, but it, again, noticeably less than before on the stock suspension. Still haven't driven it too much, so I can't say entirely, but just going back and forth in my lane, the car does feel more controlled. The weight transfer is a lot nicer. So far, I actually really like the way it drives with these springs. So going over these bumpier road, and the car does feel more stable, more planted compared to the stock suspension. The stock feels very floaty and vague, even with the Bilsteins. I don't think they really changed the springs with the Bilstein suspension. So the springs are still the same from the base model, and they just don't control the body very well. They're way too soft, and at high speeds especially, this car does feel very big, especially in cornering. You don't feel very confident in this car's abilities, or as confident as you would like to be. But so far with these springs on, I feel a lot more confident. Again, brake dive, I just came to a stop, is much less noticeable, and the ride quality is actually surprisingly good. Like, I think these springs really are a better match for the Bilsteins, and I wish this is how this car came from the factory. But I'm super glad I did this mod so far. So now it's been a couple months and a few thousand miles since installing the Progress lowering springs on my ND. I can genuinely say that I really enjoy this setup. I think it's perfect for daily driving and fast road use. It really improves the handling of the car. Like I mentioned in the initial impressions, you feel a lot more balanced, you feel a lot more stable. The car just feels more planted and like you have better control over the vehicle, especially during high-speed maneuvers, lane changes, cornering, all those sorts of things. And now that we have the car here in the sunlight, you can also clearly see the difference in the ride height now that the springs are all settled. You can see the difference clearly between the ride height now and then the stock height. It doesn't look quite as apparent and dramatic in the photos, but you do really notice it when you're looking at the car in person. It is a bit lower than stock, but not slammed to the ground, so you still have plenty of ground clearance for a daily driver. Again, I think this is the perfect setup, especially paired with those Bilstein shocks. I think if you were on the base model shocks, you might want to upgrade those to the Bilsteins or the Coneys, just something that a little bit more sporty. But with the Bilsteins, they pair very nicely to give you a good ride, not too harsh, but definitely firmer than stock, and those improvements in the handling. I hope you guys found this video helpful and informative. If you did, make sure to like it, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below if you have any questions. I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.